What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to the milestone 499th episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review series. Now that means a lot of things, but most importantly it means there's only one episode left. This one, right here, right now, until next week's episode, which is 500. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot I want to talk about going towards 500. A lot of the stuff we're going to be doing with 500. A lot of this just in general. So we're going to have a pre-review show. It's going to be big. And the good news is there weren't really that many books this week, Mike, right?
No, there weren't actually. There were 13 books.
And as you all know, 500's coming out the last week of June. So this is the second to last week of June's books, which are
June 19, 2019.
It's books. So we're going to mention that again when we get into the review, but we're in the pre-review show now, and like I said, there's a lot to talk about. First and foremost, from Last Ember Press, out this week, the new Kickstarter has begun for the Secrets of Willow Mist issue number 1. If you read Fairy Stories from LEP, you know where this comes from already, but if you haven't read Fairy Stories, you definitely, even if you read Fairy Stories, this is a Kickstarter you need to go check out and back. I've already backed it. I'm looking forward to my rewards on my tier. I definitely recommend everyone and their mother and their family go check this Kickstarter out. The artwork for this book is gorgeous. And not to mention anything, but, and it says right here, the book is already done. That's the awesome news, and why, and the reasons for why the Kickstarter is going on. You can check it all out there. Here's some sample artwork straight from the Kickstarter. This is still the Kickstarter, just showing. This is still the Kickstarter. You're going to get to a point where we're back on the Kickstarter, and there's some tiers to show what you can get, reward and stuff. And the book is by, of course, we got Lisa. We got, I hope I pronounce her name right, Ewan. And of course, we have Brant. All brought to you by all three of them. Artwork's gorgeous for the book, as you all saw from the Kickstarter page. Artwork is gorgeous. The book is amazing. I definitely say go check it out on Kickstarter. Support this book. Support Last Ember Press, and support all the stuff that we are doing over at Last Ember Press. You will not be sorry. This is definitely a book you're going to want in your collection. You will be seeing that book in our background. Now, you all know 500 is the last episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review, but that doesn't mean the background goes away because we're still on Frontline Live every single Tuesday. I still do videos on my channel. Michael still does videos in here, so Autograph Wall will still be in our background at times. As you can see, we have some LEP books in our background. Unfortunately, our big heads and bodies sometimes cover it, but they're there, and I'm looking forward to adding this book to our Autograph Wall. Go check it out. Go support it. I think you will love it. And that's the LEP news. I will add the link in the description. God, please let me remember to do that when this video goes up. This video will be going up on Tuesday, and that's the first thing I want to start talking about is the dates. 500 will be coming out on Monday, July 1st. This episode is a day late. We're recording it on Monday instead of recording it on Sunday and posting it on Monday. That will not be the case for 500. When Wednesday hits, regardless how or where, I will begin, and that is the goal for the whole second half of this week, is to get our books read. We will have them read. We will have the review ready to record on Sunday. Sunday night, we will record 500, and it will be uploaded and scheduled for 9 a.m. Monday morning. 12 hours from then, at 9 p.m., we will be going live. We will be having a 500th comic book review celebration live show. And that is how we are going to be doing 500. Now, normally, as you all know, every 100th episode I've had a huge celebration. I put out 1 year. We did a celebration where we did it live. We did the Dark Avenger comic book review live. Another year, the first 200, the 100 and 200th was a big celebration. I put out a lot of videos. 300, 400, I did the same. I made a bunch of different reviews, whether it be for toys, whether it be for graphic novels. I did a lot of videos, and I put them all up on the channel. But back then, I was doing a lot of different things. I wasn't just doing this review. And that's something I want to talk about. This weekend coming up, while 500 is coming out, I might have a special video over on my new channel. However, I will not be doing a huge celebration with a lot of videos. When I did it for 400, I noticed it didn't really take off as much as I wanted. It didn't. A lot of people weren't. There were good views for it, but at the same time, I uploaded a lot on the weekend, and I feel like I really drowned a lot of, I oversaturated a bit of the market doing it for just a weekend, and I felt bad for it. And looking back on it, I would have done things a little bit differently, but the main thing was 400, and 400 did amazing, and that was the important thing. And for this year, I think it's a big deal, 500, for multiple reasons. Obviously, it's the last episode. We're closing the series after 500. It will be over after 10 years. The Dark Avenger comic book review series is ending. So I think this time around for 500, the big celebration is going to be the live show that takes place after the 500th episode is recorded. Now, obviously, 500 is going to be a big deal. Maybe we'll read a couple extra books. I can't promise that because I have no clue how many books are coming out next week for us. We might already have a lot of books we're reviewing and reading. So, with that being said, I can't tell you whether there will be, extra books, but we will be doing 500, and the special thing, the celebration, is all going to happen at 9 p.m. on July 1st, on 9 p.m. Eastern. So it's all going to be happening then. That's the big deal for 500. Every episode, every 100th, I try to do something special. This time around, it's going to be a little more subdued. Some of you might have loved what I did for 400. I know a lot of people loved it, and a few people were like, this was a lot of videos. And it was a lot of videos, and it was a lot of time recording it. So this time around, not a lot of videos. There's not going to be any videos. There's just going to be the live show. And I hope all of you come. Once this episode is posted, I will be setting up. This will be up on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, I will be setting up the event, the live event, for Monday, July 1st. So even though 500 won't be uploaded yet, I will be setting up the live show. So once you see this episode, know that sometime today, Tuesday, I will be setting up the live show for next Monday. So you'll be seeing it. It will be in your sub box. Obviously, it's going to get buried because that's what happens when you have a live show and you set it up, so many days in advance. But the good news is, if you hit that notification bell, number one, you'll be notified when we go live on Monday. More importantly, though, it will be moved back up on the subscription list when Monday comes and when the show goes live. So if you see it, if you like to mark it, there is a way to mark a specific video notification to be notified for that specific video. So if you click the video, there will be a notification bell for that video, I believe. Or for, when the show goes live, you can click that if you don't want to be notified about everything on the channel. Again, I'm imploring everybody come July 1st. And if you can't make it, it's understandable. I'm keeping the show up so you can check it out post live. I'm not going to make it go on super long, but there's going to be some stuff that we are talking about, important stuff moving forward, life after 500 basically. So definitely, whether live, post live, whether if the show's 2 hours and you have to, cut it up, I'll try to make a highlight. I really want to, and I think I will not make a highlight of the live show on my new channel, but I will rediscuss the important stuff on my new channel, like kind of make a little update video, or maybe I'll put in a vlog. I don't know, but I will do that. So definitely be here. The big celebration is going to be that live show. That's why I mentioned 400 and all the other times where I did different ways of celebrating the whatever 100th it was. This is the way we're celebrating 500, is with this big live show post 500, post the 500th review. So definitely be there. That's the celebration. That's the big thing that's going to be happening. We're going to be making preparations all week long leading up to the inevitable live show on Monday. I have a lot of work this week. I really do. And I'm going to get to it immediately. People are not going to be seeing me online as often because of that. I've got to make sure I catch up with my stuff. But it will be worthy of the live show when we go live this Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. Really quickly, live outside of the live show and outside of the Dark Avenger comic book review, I did upload a new video on my channel. I'm very happy with the response it's been getting. It was long. I was trying my hardest. I know everybody. I know you don't like long videos sometimes. It's a 40-minute long video, but there's a lot of fun stuff. I spent a bit of time editing it to make it fun, to make it exciting. I mean, if you have to, watch it in multiple sittings if you have to, but it is my thoughts on the recent Parliament with EA. But I don't like just to stand in front of a camera if I could help it and talk. When it comes to things like, it's hard to explain this video without spoiling it, and I'm already falling over my words. In this case, there was something I could do, and when there's something I could do, instead of just standing in front of a camera, I like to do something before I get into the talking. So, I did the something. That was the first half of the video. Honestly, that was, I would say, about 70% of the episode. So if you want to have some fun, that's the fun stuff. And then the end of the video is why I did what I did in the beginning of the video and what my stance are with what EA has said at Parliament. If you'd like to check it out, even if you have no care in the world for EA, if you're not a gamer, there's some fun stuff in the video before I get into me sharing, or Mike and I sharing, our thoughts. Mostly it was me, I think, because you really didn't have much to say on it, because you don't play that many EA games.
Not really.
Exactly. So, and there's some funny stuff with Mike. There's some funny stuff with me. There's some really great stuff at the beginning of the episode. So if you want to just check out that part, and then once I start talking about EA, you can drop off the video. Definitely go check it out. I had a lot of fun with it. You actually did a rock unboxing, right?
Yeah, I did. I did the rock unboxing of episode 3. So
oh wow, it was only your 3rd episode.
Well, it's been a long while since I did that, but it was a huge return for that nonetheless. We're getting Super Mario Maker 2, so that's going to be featured on both my channel and...
Oh, that's something I could talk about, yeah. Tell them about
Boys
Friday.
13, yeah. So on Friday, we will be streaming the Super Mario Maker 2 on Brooklyn Boys, and we're going to be probably doing something else, because on my channel, I want to show the story mode. But I'm going to be unboxing the whole thing, showing the game, and for us, we're just going to be streaming.
Right, we're just going to be streaming levels. I'm hoping that by the time we get the game, we'll be able to stream something other than the story mode.
And the day after the 500 comic book review stream, July 2nd, I will be celebrating 12 years on Dear Arcade Team. My 12-year video.
So next week's a big week.
So next week's a very big week, yes. Yeah. But I don't know if it's going to be in the morning or afternoon, because unfortunately I have to work in the morning or afternoon. I don't know. I have to see.
He doesn't even know when he's working. So it's a big week. It's a big week. And
yeah.
It's a big month, and like I said, the second half of 2019 is definitely going to be...
Yes, but with 13 books and 13 minutes, let's get down into the nitty-gritty.
I just want to make sure I mentioned everything. Let me think for a moment before we get into the nitty-gritty, because, again, this review is going to be not super brief, because we're not really late anymore, but again, I think this will be like a shorter review. Next week, we'll kind of dig in a little bit more, and this is saying goodbye to a lot of books also again, so it's really sad. I want to thank everybody again. I'm going to do all this on 500. I want to thank all of you for being here, regardless when you started on this review. Even if this is your first review, I implore you definitely go back, check out the previous episodes, especially if there are books in the past that you're questioning, events that have happened in the past that you'd like to hear thoughts on. And again, a lot of people have asked, should I unsubscribe from Dark Avenger C86? I'm going to say it again now. I'm going to say it in 500. No. You shouldn't have unsubscribed from Dark Avenger C86, because number one, I'm not deleting the channel, which means anything I do that's comic related elsewhere, or anything I do in general, is going to show up here. So maybe you're not subscribed to another channel where I do something, but I'm going to re-upload it here and you'll be able to see it. This channel is not going to go completely dead. It will become what I said it's going to become in previous videos, and more. There's something on July 1st. Again, why I say don't unsubscribe is, number one, we didn't make it to 500 yet. Come to the July 1st live show. Live or post-live. After watching the July 1st live show and hearing what's going to be going on, if you still feel that unsubscribing is your best option, or if you still feel like you know, maybe I should unsubscribe, you're welcome to unsubscribe them, but I definitely think you should come on to the live, come watch the live show. Like I said, either way, live or not. And after that live show, you'll understand why I'm saying do not unsubscribe from this channel. You never know what the future holds also, because this is and always will be my solo comic channel where I talk about comics, where I began. If not for this channel, there wouldn't have been a Dark Avenger Inc. Comic Frontline. I wouldn't have met half the people I've met in the comic book community. So for me to just let this channel completely and utterly die, no. That's why I said that I was going to use it as archive. And you never know if somebody does something on Frontline, like a review or talks about a topic I want to talk about, maybe I'll post it here instead. Again, that's why I say do not unsubscribe from this channel. Even though I'm going to be on my new channel, even though I'm going to be doing stuff on my new channel, that doesn't mean this channel is going to be forgotten and buried and never heard from again. Okay? That's all I'm going to say on that. And with that, that is all that we're going to talk about this time. 500 is going to have an enormous pre-show. Well, no, actually, let me rephrase that. It's going to have a mild pre-show because it's going to have an enormous post-review show instead. Because when the review's over, that's when we're going to start talking, and saying our thoughts on the. You'll see. But instead of a pre-review show next week, 500 is going to be the review, and then we're going to go into post. Like we do for every 100th, actually. We did that for every 100th.
Yeah.
And I can tell you all right now, there's going to be no skit. I mean, we did do a skit for 300.
Forever Evil.
Yeah, where you kind of separated, and we did that shtick for a little while because Michael had work, so we had to divide up our work.
I'm telling you, everybody says, even for the epic story, everyone thinks I play a better villain than a superhero. I don't know how.
There are perks to being, the dark side. They have cookies. But anyway, no skits will happen at the end of 500. I can promise you that. However, there will be discussions. There will be talking. And it'll be very serious. And again, it's going to lead into, go check out the live show. The live show is the most important thing. Last time I'm stressing it, I promise. I've said it. I know I repeat myself a lot. The live show is very important. To all of you who have been with me for a very long time, I very rarely say something is super, super important. This live show, for multiple reasons, is very, very important. So if you can't make it live, definitely try to check it out. Even if you skim through the video, definitely try to check it out post live. No one knows anything. The only person I've talked with, there's only a very small handful of people I've talked to about it, and that's for needing help for one thing or another, or just bouncing my ideas off to see, bouncing my what the live show is going to be about off. And I actually did that when it came to this channel, when it came to what's next after 500. I bounced the idea of what I want to do next, and that's where the new channel came in. So again, it's all about moving forward. And just because this review is ending does not mean it's the end. It just means it's the beginning for something new. And that's my new channel. And I definitely hope you all go check it out. I have a good time over there. We have a good time. We have so many videos. And there's so much still to come, especially with the summer here. I'm very excited. But yeah. All right, let's stop because now we're at 18 minutes. I feel like this was a very big pre-review show. I told you all that. So let's get into the review. I'm going to try to remember the timestamp. Hold on. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we are at 19 minutes flat. When were these books released?
They were released on June 19, 2019. And there are 13 books. 13 is a lucky number in my opinion. I don't know about you.
Now, I'm only throwing this book out there. I haven't reviewed Go-Go Power Rangers since the previous arc, since Shattered Grid ended. This is an important book, I feel, because it's Go-Go Power Rangers, Forever Rangers. This is a special. This is part of the main series. It concludes the recent arc that's been going on with Go-Go, and it ends where Tommy where Tommy shows up. At the very end, there's some really nice moments with Zordon and Zack. There's a really nice moment. It kind of ends certain threads. It works. It ends the Zack and Zordon headbutting, the Trini and Jason relationship, or their their thing that's going on. Kimberly dealing with her parents' divorce and Matt, essentially. The Rangers in general. Zach going to Zordon and telling him about Rita, offering him the Green Ranger coin. All of that. And that was part of a special, by the way. And then it ends, the last page ends with the tournament fight between Jason and Tommy. So Tommy has now arrived in Angel Grove. And if you all remember, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers took place right after Mean with Green. I think that was it. Yeah. Right after the Green Ranger appeared and they saved him, and he became one of the sixth Power Ranger, basically. So this is the beginning of it. I don't think there'll be a time skip. I think we're actually going to see the Green Saga now, the Green Ranger Saga, moving forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Boom Studio does. I know a lot of people are pushing for Matt to be green and Tommy becomes white, straight away. Or maybe Tommy becomes green, doesn't lose his powers, and Matt becomes the White Ranger. I don't know how I feel about Matt being in this mix at all. But if Matt becomes the White Ranger, inevitably, I feel like something's going to happen to Matt where when Tommy loses his Green Ranger power, Tommy will become the White Ranger. Because I don't see Tommy not being both. Even if Boom Studios is trying to make their own version of the Power Rangers, I don't see Tommy losing that, because the one thing about Tommy's character throughout the years in the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger line was he was the Green Ranger who became the White Ranger, who became the Red Zeo and Turbo Ranger, very briefly Turbo, who became the Black Dino Thunder Ranger, and the recent Ninja, I think it was Ninja Storm, not Ninja Storm, Ninja Steel. Yeah. He has the Master Morpher that allows him to be all of those Rangers at once. So Tommy is a legacy character that I think, you could change a lot. You can change up stories. You can add more stories. You can change up the characters a little bit. But in the end, you can't change a character's deep legacy. And I think if Boom Studios tries that, some fans will be receptive of it. Some fans are going to be like, no, Tommy is the only White Ranger and yada yada. So I don't know. Again, I'm going into this series with an open mind. I don't feel like Matt is a strong enough character to take up the mantle of either green or white. But again, we'll have to wait and see where we go with the Power Rangers. I'll be reading it. Like I said, I've been reading Go-Go. I know that the Mighty Morphin line is over with the Rangers Lost in Time. I believe that arc is completely done. So Mighty Morphin is coming back to present day, as far as I believe. So we're going to have the White Ranger story and Mighty Morphin, and Go-Go is going to also be following somewhere in there.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends issue number 14. I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't read it.
This is why Urban Legends didn't do good with Image.
I don't even want to look through this book because
it's a dark version.
It's dark. It's a dark version of Raphael, who is now the Shredder, killing. When did ever the Ninja Turtles kill people?
This is the Image book, and it was very mature, and it was very in its
IDW.
Time. No, IDW is putting out now. This is reprints. Yeah. It was just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Image did it.
But not only that, you have where Donatello is dying, and then there's one scene, I don't know if I'm wording it right, like Leonardo saying, leave Donatello's body there. Like, you can't help it. Turtles always help each other because they're brothers. Why would you do that? No, this was dark. This is just simply... Every time I look at this title, because I had a funny feeling when I clicked that book, I said, something is not going to let me like this book. And I couldn't. This was just a dark version of the Turtles. I don't remember Turtles ever being like that. Especially if you're under Shredder's power. I understand that, but not that blood. Next book, please. Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica, issue number 2. This was a fun read. I actually liked this book where I like how, that they're still doing the murder case of what they're doing, and you have both sides. And you have, what's his name? Like you get introduced to Sonja's character a little bit, and how Vampirella, how they met in the alternate universes. Also, Red Sonja of joining football. That's actually a funny one right there. And they're just still trying to solve the mystery of what's going on. And more detective work still comes in where Ben and Veronica are doing their interviews and stuff. And then what they see at the end is Red Sonja and Vampirella in something that's in the newspapers. So, I don't know. It was a fun read, though. That was actually really good, but the mystery part is what makes it even better.
Faithless issue number 3.
Should I show the cover?
Yeah, it's the cover. It's the main cover. I mean, you can look it up and see it. That's Faithless. It's a very mature book. Again, we find out more about Faith in this book. Yeah, you can't show any of the first couple pages. But
I never showed.
We find out more about Faith. We get to see her girlfriend's father, who we presume is the devil. We find out about her powers. We find out about one of her friends. Something happened to one of her friends, and they ended up dying. And it's her and her other friends coping with it. And it's a crazy book, but I would say absolutely mature readers.
Oh yeah, that is mature.
Very mature readers only. That's the best I could put it, and that's the last time we're going to be seeing that on the Dark Avenger comic book review as the series is ending. There's 2 more parts, so it's a mini series, by the way. I'm getting the single issues because Mike Spider-Slayer ended up getting the first issue. I got interested, so I bought the first issue single. I got the second. I do have to make an order for the third from Midtown. I might wait till the fourth comes out and get the third and fourth together because nothing else has come out from Midtown that we need physically right now. So once that comes out, the fourth, I'll probably get the third and fourth together. It's an interesting read, but mature.
Once I saw this title, I knew it had to mean John Carter, the Warlord of Mars. So I see Warlord of Mars Attacks.
It's a crossover.
Issue number 1 between John Carter and Mars Attacks.
And the Martians.
With the Martians, yeah. And the Martians are basically taking over John Carter. He said saying John Carter of Virginia, so I guess they're taking over Virginia because he is Warlord of Mars.
Yeah, he's of Virginia. He comes from Virginia.
Well, he comes from there, yeah. And, when they're invading, John Carter is trying to fight the aliens, and we have some of friends that Tarkus that comes in to help him. We have Disha Torres, who is looking over, their son, because we all know about how that story ended. And it's just them just trying to find out if this is all a joke of what they see. And, and if those of you saw the Mars Attacks movie, it's just them invading Earth. And then in the next one, we have someone that might actually be more helpful towards this invasion. And it's going to be something else. I'll tell you that much.
All right, we're going into the big 2 now, starting with Marvel Uncanny X-Men number 20. Dark Beast has been manipulating the X-Men team all along. I don't want to say what happens to him, but let's just say I'm very happy with Magic at the end of this issue. But it turns out a lot of people have been manipulating Scott ever since he's come back from Ember Frost, to Jean, to a lot of people have been in Scott's head and in the X-Men's head, and they've kind of led to some dark stuff happening. You got Wolverine fighting Emma Frost, and then, of course, the army steps in and stops him and tries to save Emma. Now Emma, by the end of this issue, sees what's going on, and things are going to go really bad. So she says to Cyclops, I need the X-Men. She gives Cyclops back all of his memories that she took from him, that we saw in the previous issue, where we saw what Emma did to Cyclops, what Emma did to Wolverine. And we also find out that somebody visited Scott pretending to be Captain America when they were in the bar, but it wasn't Cap.
Let me guess. It was either
Mystique, probably.
Or Loki.
No, it was probably Mystique.
Well, yeah, because
so
it's
next
X-Men.
issue, the X-Men. So I was wrong, and Uncanny X-Men ends next month. So that's another series that's ending next month. I've got to figure out what I'm doing with all these books that are ending. There are some books that are starting as well, but there's nothing I can help with that. But The series that are ending, I'll see what I see. Again, this goes back to the pre-show where I was saying don't unsubscribe because I've got to figure out. I want to put all the books that have like one issue left somewhere. So I might do one video at the end of July where I kind of talk about all of the final issues of whatever miniseries are ending in July. So
well, speaking of endings, this is ending, but it's gonna include the next chapter of an all-new Conan novella, if I say it right. This is Savage Sword of Conan, issue number 6, and this book was actually really good. I mean, we all know that Conan was put in prison, and he has the after he has a talk with a friend of his, he talks about along the Albars River where he was drunken into prison because he's going to get executed along with other people.
He wasn't drunk.
Well, he was drugged into prison, I meant, and he's going to get executed. So with that, they have a fight in the Colosseum, and he just gets every single one of them because the woman there is like saying, whoever shall survive is the one I shall wed, and she sees Conan doing all that, and of course Conan flees and everything because he doesn't want that. So he brings back what someone was looking for, and that's just the end of that for Conan. So yeah. Oh no, Savage Sword of Conan issue number 7.
I told you, that's just the end.
All right,
of the
that
first
was the
chapter.
end of the chapter, yeah. But The arc, yeah. The War of the Realms, Spider-Man, and the League of Realms, issue number 3.
Was this the final issue?
I think so. Let me check. But anyway, the new character that came in from Wazaria is basically saying, I want to be killed. Because inside the armor, as we find out, is a woman in there that has been possessed by of course, the War of the Realms and everything else. So Spider-Man tries to help by making plans and everything, as well as trying to get Wazaria out of the armor. And someone with the magic powers tries to do that. And one of them that I believe is the sister and everything is just... Spider-Man doesn't believe in killing anybody. So he's just trying to say, let's keep all cool. We just have to try to just fight it and not kill. Because that's what Spider-Man is. So they do that, and it's just getting started with the League of Realms because something else is going to happen. But this story will continue in War of the Realms issue number 6.
So that's it. So that's the end of the
right.
mini. Okay.
So the war will still rage on in there.
Spider-Man City at War, issue number 4, continuing forward with the game. This is where Doc Ock connects with his arms, and his mind starts to kind of get warped by the arms. The fight between Mr. Negative and Spider-Man, the first fight happens. You've got Doc Ock starting to lose his mind. The MJ Spider-Man relationship kind of not going through a strain, but they're kind of like they don't know where Mary Jane doesn't know where she's at, and Pete's kind of a little worried still because he is Spider-Man after all. And we get to see I forgot what it was called. It was at the very end of the issue. The Devil's something.
I was looking.
I forget, there it is. What is it called?
The Devil's Breath?
The Devil's Breath. This is where Doc Ock gets the Devil's Breath and infects New York City. And that's where the issue ends. It doesn't end where the cover kind of leads you to believe where Spider-Man's fighting with the Sinister Six. That didn't happen in this issue. This is just where Doc Ock loses it. And again, this book actually did show a lot that you didn't see in the game. You saw other point of views while all of the story is actually going on. And they did add some extra stuff as well. But for the most part, I love this issue. I can't wait for the next one. But the cover is a little misleading. That cover should have been for the next issue, I feel. Especially because that's what's coming, not what happened yet. Superman, we're in DC Comics now. We're starting with Black Label. Superman Year 1. It's fair to say I like the story. John Romita Jr.'s art. Definitely, I don't care for John Romita Jr.'s art. It's not exactly something I feel that fits with Superman. It may fit with Spider-Man. It may fit with other books. It did not fit here, and that was one of the weakest points of the book was John Romita
What's
Jr.'s
wrong with it?
artwork.
What's wrong with it?
Keep going. So anyway, this book, it's Clark arriving in Smallville, growing up in Smallville, and now remember, this is a Black Label telling, so this is Superman Year 1 in the Black Label DC universe. So he ends up leaving Smallville by the end of the issue. There's a really great story here with bullies who've been bullied Clark, who Clark kind of... It's all about him growing up and the mindset and how the Kents really helped him develop into the young man he was. And the book ends with him leaving and joining possibly the Navy or the Marines. And we'll see where that goes. But I will say, like Michael just noticed, some of the artwork, I will say Romita Jr.'s artwork has changed for the better. His art isn't as blocky. But, I don't know. I feel like the art was weak, was the weaker point to the book. The story itself was really, really good. I'm not a fan of John Romita Jr.'s art. I really am not. And there are parts in the book that look good, and there are parts in the book that I feel like, as Mike's scrolling through more of it, there are parts that really didn't. There were moments in the book that were very emotional, that were really good, but again, I didn't care for certain parts of the book art-wise. And that was that. So now we're going into DC Comics, main DC.
Teen Titans issue number 31. The main man Lobo is in this issue meeting with Crush, which is his daughter, or so to say his daughter, because Lobo says like, I don't remember having a kid or anything. So, but then after he has the sense of smell of saying that, it is that. And then you have the Teen Titans who try to attack Lobo as well, and he crushes Crush really, really bad, Lobo. Like, he's just, and then, of course, Flash saves her with all that, but I don't know if it looks like that he's going to, if this is going to be the last we see of him, especially the way Crush's condition is. Oh boy.
Justice League issue 26. Wish I could tell you all about it. Still reading it because, and as you are going to see, again, Scott Snyder backed up with the dialogue a little bit, and this issue became a dump of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So, haven't finished reading it yet, but I wanted to get this review out on a timely fashion. Again, it's just Scott Snyder is a real dialogue heavy writer, and I feel like there was too much here. I will say Lionel Luthor somehow is back. We also have, as the cover says, something going on with Starman, and I don't know if you all don't remember Lionel Luthor. I would recommend checking out Forever Evil, because I think that's the Lionel Luthor that is being referenced at the end of this Justice League book. But there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of internal monologue I still have to read with this book. Probably I'll have it read by tomorrow night for Frontline Live, but we'll see. And finally, this week we have Batman 73. This is the last time we're going to be seeing Batman. And this is going to be the last time we saw Justice League. And this is the last time we're going to be seeing all the books we just talked about as the review is ending. This one, we find out that Batman's back was broken again by Bane in the last issue. This issue, his father put his back together, or his spine back together as best he could, and he's taken Bruce somewhere. They're in the middle.
I thought his father died.
This is from the father that came out of the Flashpoint. Remember, he came out.
Oh.
So, Bruce is still kind of out of it because of all the drugs he's been under and what happened to him. He's healed, though. He's perfectly fine. He's walking around, and he's not in really bad shape. So the father, they have this talk. They have a couple of talks. And then by the end of the issue, Bruce kind of comes to his senses finally. He takes the cowl because the father actually kept the cowl, puts it on. And Bruce is kind of lost. He's like, I don't understand. You helped Bane. Now you're helping me. And the father basically says we're going to be a family again because Bruce realizes what desert they're at and where they're at. And basically the father wants to resurrect the mother so that Batman could have his family again. Because, again, if you remember, the father wanted Bruce to be happy and to stop being Batman. And, you know, the big point about Batman was he lost his family, and that's what made him Batman. Now, in Batman, they're trying to bring the mother back and the father's back. And, again, I don't know where King's going with this. I really don't. And again, this is now connected to the Year of the Villains, which I think is only supposed to be a half a year, even though it's called the Year of the Villains. I could be wrong, but this is connected to the Year of the Villains with Batman versus Bane. We know how this is going to end. We know that the villains aren't going to get a big, huge 100% win here. Some villains might get a bit of a win. I'm not going to say that Bane is going to get what he has coming to him, but this is Batman after all, so I see the inevitable where Batman is going to be Batman. You know, it's going to end up back the way it was with, you know, Flashpoint, Batman being somewhere. I don't see the mother coming back, and Batman, you know, Bruce being Batman again. I don't know. I don't know where DC's going with this. I guess as readers, we'll all see as this year progresses and as we get into next year and the first half of next year. I don't know. We'll see. Batman, I was on the fence with. This was a good book, though. I did like it. A lot better than where it's been. So definitely I'm more swaying towards continuing to read it. After reading this issue, I did like it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. And I'm looking forward to Tom King's Batman and Catwoman. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. And with that, that's it for this review, which means there's no more episodes until 500. Next week, the next episode, the next time you see us, will be the 500th Dark Avenger comic book review. In less than a week. We're recording this a week from the night that it'll be going up, or the day it'll be going up. But you're seeing this a day later, so less than a week away. The Dark Avenger comic book review will be hitting its 500th and final episode. Hope to see all of you there. Even more so, hope to see all of you on the live show that night. Till then, everybody. For this episode, it's your turn. Let us know what you thought about the books that came out this week. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. Always like to hear, you know, people have recommended books to me, and some of them I read outside of the review, and I enjoy them. So love to hear recommendations. Love to hear your thoughts on the books. And yeah, till then, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you all really soon in the next episode. The final episode.